The Spanish Giants were in the midst of their Galactico era when they spent £3 million on the Everton midfielder. While his career on the pitch was fairly bizarre, his life off the pitch was just crazy. A new biography has just been released telling some rather incredible tales surrounding Gravesen and his life. In it, he's described as a grenade with the pin pulled out, and that just about sums him up. He can now be found in a luxurious gated community in Las Vegas, where he calls Andre Agassi and Nicolas Cage his neighbors. Rumors claim that he made a £100 million fortune in America, while there are reports suggesting he lost £54 million in a single game of poker. And, thanks to Daily Mail, we look at 5 of the wackiest Gravesen stories that are included in his new biography. Gravesen was a no-nonsense tough-tackling midfielder, and that was the case in training as well. But he was also a lovable character and would often grab his star-studded teammates into great big bear hugs. He once went a bit too far with Brazilian striker Ronaldo, though. After picking him up and throwing him around, Ronaldo lost a tooth. He was also involved in a training ground fight with Robinho. He might have been a Real Madrid player, but Gravesen wasn't going to change. Gravesen's life changed dramatically after his move to Madrid. Previously, the midfielder had played for Vigil Bold Club, Hamburg and Everton, and was able to get on with his life rather peacefully. As soon as he moved to the Bernabeu, he was a worldwide star both in Spain and Denmark. Gravesen wasn't used to the attention, but it did enable him to land porn star Andre Agassi. His status suddenly went from a high-profile footballer to a celebrity. Wayne Rooney was emerging at Everton, and it seemed the young superstar unsettled Gravesen. We'll let then Everton manager David Moyes tell this story. It was the old gym, it's about 60 yards long. Thomas and Wayne, they were shooting fireworks at each other. They had big rockets full of gunpowder, they were holding one end and shooting them at each other. Moyes added, Tommy was mental in a good way. He was a great player and we loved him. He wouldn't listen, but it wasn't in a bad way. I think it was a wee bit where he didn't want to hear you and just did his own thing. He was crazy in his training. He was a good lad but mental. During his early days at Vigil Bold Club in Denmark, Gravesen wasn't happy with just being an extremely talented young footballer. Therefore, he decided to also work as a car salesman to keep him motivated. I need to know that the alarm clock rings in the morning, otherwise I will never go to bed, Gravesen said. Previously, I had a period of 3 to 4 months where I did not work. I only slept in the morning and could not sleep at night. I switched completely night and day and could clearly notice that my game was getting worse and my condition worse. Gravesen seemingly vanished when he retired from football in 2009. 4 years later, he was reported to be living in Las Vegas in a very famous gated community. Newspapers were suggesting he was now worth between £80 £100 million, but there is something of a mystery regarding how this happened. He may well have won it during a game of poker, considering there are suggestions that he once lost £54 million during one game. On a poker forum 2+2, user Tarantula Gargantu told the extraordinary story of the night Gravesen lost an absolute fortune. The story goes, "I can confirm he has made £80 million, but it did not come easy. I was there in one of the sessions where he was playing some guy heads up and lost £54 million in one night. Can't say who it was against, though. That story has not been verified, but it's certainly believable."